What is happening, y'all? Cowboy here. Welcome back to some more Monster Hunter Rise, and we are finally doing a build update video for the 2.0 patch. Now, I know this is obviously in the 11th hour, considering we're probably going to be getting the 3.0 patch this week, but it took a lot of time to update all these sets, and I've been meaning to bring this to you all sooner. I just haven't had the time. So just to set expectations, we're not going to be hunting any monsters. We're strictly going to be going through sets, basically showing you the evolution of every build video I've posted so far and where those sets are currently at. So to start to jump on into it, real fast, I just want to go through some layered setups that I have, just to share those with y'all. This is the Basil Goss, kind of good for the beefier weapons, things like Greatsword, Hammer, Charge Blade. It's just a really thick looking armor setup, and you can tweak the colors a little bit to get them to match like this. I think it looks really clean. The other is my Barracuda. This is more of my fast ninja Mortal Kombat-esque setup. I like using this with things like the dual blades or the bow. I think it looks really fast, you know, just it's a slick setup. So just wanted to share those with y'all. These are just the pre-order stuff, so we can ignore those. But either way, let's jump into equipment loadouts and go down the list. So first up, we have the sword and shield setup, and this is working with the High Ninja Sword. Now the High Ninja Sword, for those that haven't actually seen it, this weapon comes with 100% affinity and a ton of natural green. Also has Silkbind boost, which is really nice for our Metsu. We're able to hit just these disgustingly strong uppercuts. And there are two real ways that you can play the High Ninja Sword. Either you go for a setup like this, or you go for a handicraft Master's Touch setup. So the Bludgeoner setup is definitely a lot lazier, and that's the whole point of this. This is a very lazy sword and shield setup, and I'm saying that because from a damage perspective, you'll actually do more damage for Hard Basher in particular, playing with either Tigrex or Rathian, and then minimizing, you know, your sharpness loss, keeping it at white and whatnot. But this is just chill, you know. This still gets the job done. It might do hunts like a minute slower. But, you know, attack boost 7, stun resist 3, crit boost 3, bludgeoner, wirebug, whisperer 3, a little bit of slugger, some offensive guard in there, flinch free, division. Just a very nice quality of life sword and shield set that's a lot of fun to play with. Now, if you want to try to maximize damage a little bit more, but still work with the High Ninja Sword, I'd suggest slotting in a handicraft deco and the Vike mail, and then making some room to work in 3 points of Master's Touch, because with the 100% built-in affinity, of course, Master's Touch has 100% uptime, and then when you consider the fact that Hard Basher using your shield to attack doesn't actually cost sharpness at all, that actually works out pretty well for that setup. More than likely, just to show exactly what you would do, I would go right here and do Handicraft, and then I would do Master's Touch there, and where's my, oh, Master's Touch up here. So you replace your blunt and sacrifice 1 critical jewel. You also notice I have 3 level 1 slots that are unused. These are really for whatever you want. You know, we have a lot here. We don't need speed sharpening, so you could go poison resist, you could go fire resist. You know, basically switch around and pick up a resist you need, dependent on the situation, depending on what Elder Dragon you're fighting, which, like I said, very much a lazy set that's kind of fun to chill with. Moving on from there, the switch axe, we are using the Rex Gnasher. This thing is just dirty. This is a very, very strong switch axe, has innate white sharpness, lots of exhaust on this. This is my first time using exhaust switch axe. It's pretty dope. It has like a blue lightning effect to it. Definitely a very potent move. And the setup here, you're going to see this gear setup on a lot of weapons: Kaiser Crown, Vike Mail, Kaiser Van Braces, Anja Coil, Ingot. This setup is pretty disgusting. Crit High 6, Attack Boost 4, Crit Boost 3, Wex 3, Speed Sharp 3, Rapid Morph 3, some Flinch and Stamina. Of course, our talisman for most of these builds is going to be, it's a Weakness Exploit talisman, so 2 Wex as well as a level 2 slot to get all 3 Wex on 1 talisman. Beyond that, some other things we've slotted in, the decos for Rapid Morph, of course, still being a fantastic skill with the Switch Axe, but this just does work. This puts in a lot of work, does really well. Moving down from there, IG. With IG, we ended up staying with the Evening Calm. Evening Calm is still a really solid insect glaive, especially when you consider that the damage on it is higher than a lot of the other Nargacuga counterparts. But once again, Kaiser Vike, Kaiser Anja Ingot on this. It's going to give us the 6 crit eye, the 5 attack boost, crit boost Wex, and then as opposed to here where we have Rapid Morph, here we've worked in Master's Touch just to maintain that sharpness a little bit easier, which is really nice. Now, as for dual blades, we have 3 distinct setups. The most of your setups are going to be either, well, for Dragon, we work in the Alcanath Thorax. For the other sets, we use Lagambi. Fire has its own unique set. But anyway, to talk about this, Kaiser, Alcanath, Sinister, Chrome, Kodachi. This setup is going to give you just a smidge of white on the Fortis Grand, but having that white along with having Master's Touch 3, you're not going to really have many issues maintaining that. You'll be able to keep up that white sharpness quite a while, and to be honest, if you decide you don't like that, if you want to go back down to blue, you know, you can obviously replace this stuff and pick up other stuff. If you go back down to blue, you could load up on stuff like crit boost or more crit element. But personally speaking, I really like the Master's Touch playstyle with almost all of the dual blades. You know, this thing is at 55% affinity before even counting for Wex, so you're going to be at 100%. 100% uptime on that. Maintaining the white does not become... it's not hard. You'll keep it up, rest assured. So yeah, fun setup there. Which I actually think... Let's check something quick, Jewel. Yeah, okay. Fire, however, this is a little bit more unique. We have 2 points Teostra Blessing, and we only have level 4 fire attack. The Teostra Blessing will help with the fire damage, so to be able to fit Crit Boost 3, Wex 3, Master's Touch 3, we had to sacrifice a point in fire attack, and we're offsetting that with Teostra's Blessing by going for the Triple Kaiser, and this still ends up working pretty well. Comparatively speaking, you can see that 180, 32, 55, 237, 40, so a lot of fire damage coming in. And I'm going to be running the Master's Touch setup on all of my elemental builds here with Dual Blade. I just really like that playstyle. It's very cruise control, if you will. As for Water, Thunder, and Ice, you can see these sets are functionally identical with very minor differences. The Ice Dual Blades were able to fit in an extra point of crit element because the Lagambi Vambraces already have Ice attack built into them. But these this is like your standard build. Like if you don't have the stuff for these, I would just run these setups with all the elements. So the Kaiser, Vike, Lagambi, Chrome, Kodachi. In particular, Kodachi, really nice value piece on these. We got Constitution, Critical Eye, and then a 2 and a 1. So just nice perks for dual blades, and especially as you know, as time has gone on and we're able to fit more of these skills. All three of these sets come in very nicely. 40% affinity, 90% when you consider Wex. Obviously, Master's Touch maintaining that sharpness for us. Moving on over to the Hunting Horn, the Basil Ride Rook Slayer. Now this thing is just monstrous. I love this horn a lot. Just to show the horn in particular. The Basil Horn is fun. I use it a lot in World. It's got some blast boost on it, but namely the real reason I want this is it has health recovery large, which is really nice to give me a spam move to consistently spam with the rotation. You notice I have a lot of white sharpness on this. We went heavy with the white sharpness, so this thing hits really hard. I like this a lot. I like this a lot more than Narga. I like this a lot more than Rampage. Attack 7, Handy 4, Wex 3, Speed Sharp 3, Crit Eye, Crit Boost, Horn Maestro. The normal Rapid Up, we're getting that from Kushala, but the Kushala Helm is helping boost our handicraft up higher. Now, you can experiment with that a little bit. Personally, I found that 4 handicrafts seemed to be the sweet spot. You know, going up to 5, I felt like I was sacrificing too much, and below 4, I felt like I was sharpening too much. So I like being at 4 for that, but, you know, go with what you're comfortable with on that. But the Basil Rook Slayer in particular, just a really solid hunting horn. I mean, the thing hits like a freaking truck. On top of that, of course, you have access to, you know, the large shield on it. I like it a lot. For long Gunlance, we're still working with the Howitzer, but things have gotten better with the introduction of the Basil gear. So Diablos, Almudron, Basil. This gives us attack boost 4, Wex 3, Razor Sharp 3, Guard 3, Artillery 3, Load Shells, Guard Up, Flinch Free, and Diversion. Now you'll notice, of course, that I took out the extra dodging that we would have from Evade Extender. You could work Evade Extender in and replace attack boost with it. I have been using my dash boost a lot more in lieu of having Evade Extender, so that's going to be a preference. You don't need attack boost with Gunlance. Of course, it doesn't help your shelling. But otherwise, the rest of the setup is pretty standard. You know, we're basically just adding an attack boost and Wex for more damage on our pokes. On that note, let's also take a look at normal Gunlance, which functionally is the exact same. The only real difference here is the Arachna Lance has a couple of extra decoration slots in it, so we're able to load up a little bit more. In this case, shield up, grinder, but this is going to be a normal level 5 with great deco slots. Otherwise, this is all going to be the same here. So we're still going to be going attack 4, Wex 3, razor sharp 3, guard 3, artillery 3, guard up, load shells, speed sharp. Moving on though, moving on the list, hammer. We have gone full paralysis boy with this, so we are still working with the Iron Devil's Soul, but we have taken it up a notch. Attack boost 4, crit boost 3, Wex 3, paralysis attack 3, bludgeoner 3, stamina 3, stun resist 3, critical eye 2, Volvidon, Vike, Tigrex, Anja Ingot. This thing gets paralyzes. Like if you're hunting solo, you're getting at minimum 2, maybe 3. If you're hunting in a group, if the monster isn't dead within 10 minutes, you're going to see a second paralyze go up. Really fun. I just like Parahammer, and it just got better with this patch. Moving down to Lance, I haven't really changed the Lance at all. I don't play Lance enough, but still running the Baroth Diablo Sinister Anja Baroth setup. You know, this Lance in particular, because of the negative affinity it has, and we're offsetting that, it didn't really make sense to go towards the, you know, it didn't make sense to really load this up with all the crit stuff. And that's probably the biggest thing from this patch we got is, you know, getting access to the Kaiser gear and lots of crit and crit boost. And with the Diablo Spear, that doesn't really come into play at all. So this is the one set I haven't really worked much with or changed at all. Just wanted to throw it out there. Longsword. We've switched things up to the Mirage Fin Sword. Besides that, Kaiser, Vike, Sinister, Anja Ingot. This gives us crit eye 5, attack boost 4, crit boost 3, Wex 3, quick sheath 3, stun resist, speed sharp, 2 points handicraft. Now for this is one of the few that I'd like to have just a pinch more sharpness on. Working with 2 isn't that bad as long as you have grinder, but I wish I had a better talisman. If I had a better talisman, I'd definitely work in a little bit more handicraft. Which actually I could get a slightly better setup with a different deco here, but I don't have the tenderizer decos needed, so we're just using our Wex talisman again. But still, this set's pretty good. It's a really cool looking longsword. Longsword does more damage than Narga, so fun setup. Greatsword, still working with Tigrex. This just got better with the gear we have available. So Kaiser, Anja, Ingot. That gives us crit eye 6, attack boost 4, crit boost 3, Wex 3, focus 3, speed sharp 3, some stun resist, flinch free, diversion. Solid setup. Pierce light bowgun as well as the heavy bowgun. Also the Pierce light bowgun I haven't touched at all. This is functionally the same. I haven't looked into this. There might be a way to tweak this a little bit more, but it's, you know, it has everything that it really wants right now. The only thing I could do here is get more rapid fire up, which the Kushala helm has that, so there might be, I think just slotting in the Kushala helm might make this better, but I haven't looked into it. As for the heavy bowgun, this got better. Couple changes to this. So attack boost 7, spare shot 3, art 3, reload speed 3, recool down, Wirebug Whisper. The biggest difference, the Tigrex Howl, we went for Cluster Effect 2 as opposed to Sticky Effect. Cluster Effect 2 is vastly superior. After testing it out more, we're using that and level 3 charge slots. And what's great about this is with this setup, you can basically fire off Cluster 3, Cluster 2, Cluster 1 without having to reload at all. So especially for solo hunts, this allows you to just dump out your clusters like it's a carpet bomb and then just follow up from there with charged level 3 stickies doing a lot of damage. So this was just a playstyle difference, just changing in how I ran it, and it's much better than it was. Impact Charge Blade. Of course, the Bagazil gear helping to boost that up. We are going for the Baroth Renoplos Basil, and this is going to give us attack 4, Wex 3, bludgeon 3, guard 3, artillery 3, load shells 2, and a point of guard up. And then some spare stuff, offensive, defensive, flinch, diversion. I've changed up how I play Charge Blade. To be honest, the more that I played, with wherever it is, counter peak performance, the more I just wasn't enjoying it. Axe Hopper is just really nice. I don't know, it's fun. It has a big bonk, it does a lot of damage, so I've been liking Axe Hopper a lot. And to that extent, with Axe Hopper, you're definitely going to want load shells. It allows you to refill all of your shells when you hit yellow as opposed to red. So just doing that, this feels a lot more like standard charge blade. So we have the points of guard, so we can guard point, we're actually attacking and weaving our sword in, and then we're dumping out damage. I find myself just having a lot more fun with this setup as opposed to the counter peak performance setup. So it's a preference thing, but pretty nice setup. The basil gear definitely helped with this. Rapid bow, I haven't really changed at all. This is same as it used to be. And then some other things that I was working on. This is a blast sword and shield build, which is pretty interesting. It's not that good. It's not as fast as the other sword and shield, but we are working with Teostra Spada, which has 36 blast, and then Teostra Soul, which is an interesting little effect. Utshuhi Jelly Vest, Rathlos Brace, Anja, Hunter's Greaves. And of course, that talisman. And this gives us attack 7, Wex 3, Blast 3, Razor Sharp 3, a little bit of crit boost and stun resist. Drill Slash combo with this, of course, you're going to want Drill Slash as opposed to Hard Basher. Drill Slash really good for getting those status procs. It's not the strongest Sword and Shield setup, but it is a just a fun alternative setup to play around with. And then, of course, the last one there was a Dragon Charge Blade, which I'm still kind of working on that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I feel about it. But that is going to be it for the updates, just to show off a couple things that we touched on that I think are worth kind of taking a more in-depth look at. Go here. So as for the blast, just to show this. Oh, nope, one button. Hit my Hard Basher combo. There's one blast. There's a second. Or give me my blasts. There's another one. There's a third. Yeah, but basically when you do this hit and it rips the sword out, you're going to be getting a lot of those blasts, and Teostra Soul is going to boost your blasts from 100 up to 120. So pretty significant damage boost there on the blasts, which is pretty fun. The Tigrix Bowgun, just to show this, because this is really nutty. Like, I can't believe I overlooked this before. But yeah, so you wouldn't have to reload, which obviously we're never going to have to reload in training. But basically, you can just go through those and then go straight into your level 2s and load them out. And then straight into your level 1s and load them out. And then, of course, as for your sticky 3s, just to show the damage on these. Boom! Big damage. And then lastly, this is fun. One of the nice things about the High Ninja Sword, which I think is ultimately what makes me like this thing so much. Since there's no shield, we're literally just punching the monster in the face. Like, when we're playing with this, we're punching the monster, which is really cool to me. And then, of course, don't forget, because of the look at the damage we did on that. That's the power of Silkbind boost. That Metsu hitting so hard. There was actually some folks that were doing speed runs, and they were using small barrel bombs to just continually chain Silkbind boost Metsu, and it did a disgusting amount of damage. So definitely a very fun playstyle. I'll do it again. God damn. It's so hard. There's 1,000 damage with that one combo. It's silly. So anyway, that is going to wrap things up here. Obviously, like I said, we have 3.0 coming up, so a lot of these builds are probably going to change again, but at least I got the video out in time. I know it took much longer than I would have liked, but regardless, it's done. Here it is. Try this stuff out. A lot of fun. As always, if you're not sure what to build, I would suggest just checking out the Monster Hunter subreddit. For the most part, a lot of my builds tend to deviate a little bit from meta. I'm still kind of a damage nerd. I like to chase after damage, but I'm not worried about min-maxing, so just something to keep in mind. But either way, thanks for tuning on in. Hopefully this helps out a couple of y'all, and otherwise, I'll see you guys on the Rise streams. See you later.